You don't see reality as it is right now because you don't see reality through your eyes. You actually see reality through the subconscious programs of your mind, meaning that your subconscious mind is able to take in between 11 to 50 million pieces of information per second, process through that, and it will block out and be outside of your perception to your conscious mind everything other than what aligns with those programs. So if you have a program and a set of beliefs that says you're not good enough, that says that nothing ever works out for you, that means that your subconscious will filter out everything outside of your physical senses and only be able to perceive of people, circumstances, and situations that will reflect back to you that that program is true. Even if that experience is the opposition of what you consciously desire right now. The great news is you can create a new mind, meaning you'll give yourself a new lens on how you can see reality and start perceiving of what you consciously desire. In order to do that, you're going to have to reprogram your subconscious filters. And in this video, I'm going to show you 2 hidden techniques that I've dug up from 2 powerful societies that you might have heard of, but not quite the depth of some of these traditions that they use because they knew how powerful these practices are and how impactful they can be. Because as you change the filters of your mind, you radically change what you're able to see. When you start seeing different things, you're going to start disconfirming old beliefs, which will dissolve that, and you'll be able to create the electromagnetic signature, the new thoughts, the new feelings, and attract new events, circumstances, and people into your life that align with your conscious desires. So let's get started. So the first technique is going to come from the Freemasons. Now, the Freemasons is somewhat known as a secret society, and there's a lot of different people speculated to come from it. But without getting into the details of the society, what I want to talk about is one of their initiation practices. And in this practice, they believe that unless you created something inside of you, it could not exist in the outside world, meaning that your outside world is reflecting back to you what is inside. So in this initiation practice or ritual, which I'm going to share with you, I'm going to show you how to create and construct that inner world, that inner temple, so you then can see it reflected back to you in your outside world. Now, I want to show you what this technique is going to be doing. Basically, the Freemasons believe that your imagination is what you had to tune in to create that inner world so that you could see it reflected back to you. Unless it existed in you, it could not exist in your experience outside of you. So I'm going to show you what this technique is going to help you with. This is going to represent the temple of your desires. So unless you learn how to construct this and then illuminate it so it is alive within you, you won't be able to experience in your world. So this technique is going to show you how you can learn to light up that conscious desire and have that energy alive within you so that you can see it reflected back to you in your outside world. So let me show you. So the Freemasons believe that you had to construct an inner world, an inner creation before you could see anything reflected back to you. Just the same as I had to light that candle before I saw it reflected back to me in the mirror. So in this practice, you're going to be learning how to create in your imagination different things within you, and just like a muscle, you exercise it. The more you do this, the more you let go of those old, recurring, monotonous, and automatic thoughts, and you're actually putting your energy into creating this entirely new way of being. So what you want to do is you want to take 2 symbols. Now, the Freemasons used a leveling square, a builder square, which is interesting symbolism because you need a square in order to know how to construct different things so they are vertical, so they are ready to take on more and actually very stable. The other thing the Freemasons used was a compass. That had to do with being well-rounded and I believe integrity. I think it's more important to actually use something that you find meaningful. What is something that really brings an inspiration? It has a symbolic representation of your ideal self, of those desires. pick 2 things or pick a random thing and put the intention into it. Because basically what you want to do is have a physical representation to start influencing your psychology and physiology. So what you want to do is have a quiet space that is actually beautiful. They believe that beauty coincided with your ability to tap into the divine part of yourself. So clear a space, make it nice and pretty, smells are great, 5 senses to be included. But even if it's just a small space, it's a space that is for you and for this intention of creating that inner temple so that you can start seeing it reflected in your outside world. So with these 2 very meaningful symbols, physical symbols, you're also going to pick a book. Now this book could be a religious book, this book could be something that also inspires you, or you could literally just put a rectangle on a sheet of paper. I want you to put those 2 symbols on this book or rectangle. So you're going to sit down in a chair and you're going to close your eyes and just start to relax. Remember that your brain waves, you want them to start to lower, because the lower they are, the closer to theta. Theta is the language of the subconscious. That's when you can really start influencing it, really start allowing your imagination to directly influence your subconscious. When your body feels safe. And when does it feel safest? When it is relaxed. So you're in this space, you're feeling safe, you're relaxing, you're closing your eyes, you're deeply breathing, then you're going to open your eyes and you're going to start observing with no thoughts these symbols of yours. Just start taking them in, notice the shapes, notice what they look like, if there's colors, not judging, not labeling, not thinking of them, just observing. Close your eyes. See if you can see that in your mind's eye, starting to create those symbols inside of you, holding on to them even though you've closed your eyes to them. You still have them and hold them inside of you. So you're going to open your eyes when they start to get a little bit distant. Take them in. Start to see if you can notice the beauty of these shapes, the beauty of these symbols that you have picked. Close your eyes. Now, after you do this, it shouldn't take more than 3 to 5 minutes. I want you to then stand up. And you're going to still be breathing. You're going to be as vertical as you can. Your feet are going to be right next to each other. And you're still feeling those symbols inside of you. You're deeply breathing, relaxed. After a couple moments here, you're going to widen your feet to shoulder width apart. Still breathing, feeling those symbols, really taking in the beauty. And then the final part of this, and this goes only a couple of minutes. This isn't like a 30-minute each position thing. But after a minute of each of these, you're going to then put your feet to 45 degrees. Now, as you're standing there, I want you to now visualize a 5-foot tall cup. This cup is blue, it's indigo, it's beautiful, and it's about arm's length distance from you. Remember, you're standing up tall, vertical, your feet are at 45, and you're right at there is this huge blue indigo 5-foot tall cup. And inside that cup, I want you to then take your palms and put it to the cup and bring it towards you. When you look inside this cup, you see the Hebrew letter, which I'm going to show you now on the screen. I want you to see that in your mind's eye, in the water. Now, as you're visualizing this letter, I want you to feel the vibration of that letter all the way through your body. You're seeing it from the water all the way through your body. Remember, this is a very visceral. We're trying to get your imagination to inspire your physiology. Now, as you have this cup in your hands and you're vibrating with it, you're seeing deeply in your mind's eye this cup, you're totally relaxed. I want you to then take this cup and I want you to put it in to your heart, using your imagination to embody this energy, this beautiful indigo cup into your heart space. All of that energy coming into your heart. Again, you're relaxed, you're breathing deeply, your eyes are closed, you're working with your imagination and your physiology. Take a couple moments here, really feeling that beauty inside your chest, and when you're ready, you bring your legs back together, hands at your side. breathing deeply, and then sit down. If you want to meditate after this, want to take some notes, highly encourage you to do this. But what you're learning how to do is use your imagination and create a physical experience. The more you do this, the more you're going to learn how to then feel those feelings of your desires, learning to feel them as real, feel that sensations in your body. Neville Goddard, the feeling is the secret. This is literally like an exercise to learn how to feel those sensations in your body, which will then, just like that lighter, lighting the lamp, turning on that candle inside of you so you can start to manifest that into your life. So the second technique comes from the Rosicrucians. And this technique is something I've personally used, and it's absolutely powerful. So the first technique I showed you was learning how to start to create those new feelings, create that influence into your subconscious, and create those new programs. But what do you do with the pre-existing programs? Well, this technique is going to help you to become aware of them, which is the first step into dissolving them. So the Rosicrucians believe that when you are able to become fully aware, that is when you could actually start to create changes. So this technique is basically when you lay down at night, as your head hits the pillow, before you are just going to sleep, you are in a relaxed state. And if laying down is too relaxed, you're going to fall asleep, sit up a little bit. But you do want to be relaxed. And what you want to do is you want to start replaying the day. Okay, what did you do right before you laid down? Maybe you changed into the clothes you're going to sleep in. Maybe you brushed your teeth. What did you do right before that? Maybe you got water. What did you do right before that? Maybe you had dinner. What did you do right before that? What you might notice is you might have huge gaps of hours long where you can't remember, and that's okay. We're not here to judge you. We're not here to shame you or say, why are you doing that? That's so bad. No, we want to have compassion, but we also want to have curiosity. Okay, what happened there? Oh, interesting. Kind of blacked out, kind of totally went unconscious. Now, the more you start to be curiously aware of this, the more you start to literally get a light. And Neville Goddard said the light of awareness, that's how you're able to shift your consciousness, because you won't be able to change something you're not aware of. And even though you're practicing that first technique to create these feelings, if you kind of basically tone out and you go into the old way for 5 hours a day, well, it's going to make it harder to shift that, right? So every moment you have a new choice to be the new you, but if you forget and you go into the old system and go on autopilot, subconsciously driven, well, then you're going to stay in that old energy and attracting and being stuck, and it's no good. So what you want to do is continually go back and practice this every day. And yeah, it sounds like a lot of work. Shifting your old subconscious beliefs is not about just hoping it happens and then doing it. There's this misunderstanding about effortless. Effortless has to do with not strenuous and exhausting and terrible. It doesn't have to do with the lack of action. You have to act. Thoughts, feelings, and actions are what creates the new you. It's not just sitting there hoping it happens and then suddenly it's easy to believe in yourself because somebody else is doing it, because that's very externally and self-rejecting, in my opinion. But what you want to do with this Rosicrucian technique is to start to become aware, start to rewind your day. And when you get all the way to the beginning, and you can do this over and over, then what you do when you wake up is you have an intention. You want to go through the day, and then you basically line those two up. Dr. Joe actually talks about this technique, or this kind of thought about doing it. You have a plan of how you want to be, and then you review that plan at the end of the day. And when those two align is when you start to master those old subconscious programs and update them to align with the experiences you really want. If you're not doing this, those subconscious programs by the time you're 35 will run your life. Now, these are great new programs, but what do you do about those deep beliefs that you're finding hard to break away from, that you, no matter what, they just keep repeating? Well, this next video right here is going to show you exactly how you can break free of limiting beliefs step by step. So check it out right here.